Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we're going to do another in the series of my Playgroups decks. These are decks that are not mine, but that I do play against. And this is my buddy Danny's deck, and I can't tell you how many times I have lost to this deck, but it is always fun when doing it. This is a Vial Smasher deck. Thrasios is in there. I don't know that I've ever seen him cast Thrasios to get the green and the blue. Vial Smasher doesn't even, it's so good, it doesn't even need partner. Um, Now, I know Danny's iterated this several times, but this is the current iteration, and it is outstanding. Now, Vial Smasher, okay, how it works. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, you choose an opponent at random, most time die roll. Vial Smasher deals damage equal to that spell's converted mana cost to that player or a planeswalker that player controls. Now, no, we don't play a whole lot of planeswalkers in our meta. Sometimes they get played. There's a few Super Friends decks running around, but most of the time you just face somebody for that damn, or that's what he does. I've never actually played this deck, but I've played against it so many times. I feel qualified to talk about it. And then Thrasios, y'all know what Thrasios does. Not that it matters. It grants green and blue in Commander. That's what it does. So let's get to it. But we got to remember our favorite Goblin Berserker when we do. Okay, I'll slide that over. So I broke this down to where, kind of like we normally do. Let's look at our ramp first. He has the most beautiful Soul Ring I've ever seen. I got rid of mine years ago. He never did. This is the pinnacle Soul Ring for me. Yes, the Alpha Beta art is outstanding, and with that black border, but this is Chef's Kiss. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Gilded Lotus, Mox Amber, and the Chromatic Ore. Now, I know you're thinking Chromatic Ore is 7 mana. It's not that. Well, because of Vial Smasher, you want to have expensive stuff in the deck, but you still want to be able to cast it. This solves your four colors of mana problem. And, I mean, it's 7 taps for 5, and in a pinch, you can spend 5 to draw just about 4 cards. So, then we have card draw. We have Touristic Study, and I'll be honest with you, I'm guilty of never paying the 1. The Dictate of Krufix. That dictate's good. Coiling Oracle, I consider to be more card draw than ramp, because it's always going to get you. It's not always going to get you a land, but it's always going to get you up a card, whether it's a land or a card in your hand. Treasure Cruise. Treasure Cruise, an amazing card in the deck because it never costs you 8 mana to cast it, but when Vial Smasher checks it, it CMC is 8, so you're dealing 8 to the dome somewhere. Same way with Ginge Attacks. It's cost 10. That's a whole lot of damage. Now, before I get to any other category, I want you. Dictated Twin Gods, I know, has been in this deck for a while, and that's really good. But when Fire Emancipation came out, it kicked Vial Smasher into overdrive. Because can you imagine casting a Treasure Cruise and randomly choosing somebody to take 24? Yeah. And then at the end of turn, you're like, oh yeah, I have a Wound Reflection in play, so do it again. Yeah, it just kills people out of nowhere for just playing the game. You don't have to attack, but you can, because let's look at this creature suite, shall we? Obviously, you want a lot of the big stuff, because when you're casting a Massacre Worm dealing 6 damage, maybe it's doubled or tripled, or gosh, even both. But then you've still got a Massacre Worm to deal with. Impervious Great Worm. This 16/16 is indestructible, and somebody took 10 when it came in, at least. Nicol Bolas the Ravager, just heck of a Magic card. Kervak the Merciless. Right? Now, here's the beauty of Seedborn Muse. 5 mana is not a lot, but Seedborn Muse, I don't have to sell y'all on this card. We all know it's amazing. But Vial Smasher says, whenever you cast your first spell each turn. So, if you've got the Seedborn out, you're triggering that Vial Smasher every single turn, even your opponent's turns, because he went a long time ago and got the Vidalcan Ore out so that he can cast, all kinds of random stuff on your turn. So he's triggering Vial Smasher on every turn around the table. Torgar, you're never going to pay 8, but it still checks for 8. Rashmi is, there again, cast your first spell per turn. Clothis, Tatiova is just a beast of a Magic card. Vevictus Asmati, the Dire. Torrential Gearhulk's going to get something that you don't want him to get back. We got Big Mama, Emrakul. I have taken 39. I have taken 39 off of an Emrakul cast. And it never costs 13 to cast. Yeah. You taking 39 from a cast, you don't live too long. Drought of the Elysian Grove is, this is more. Danny won't play with double meat, double cheese. Droughts Flourishing, because it helps everybody, and he just can't bring himself to do that, which is actually smart Magic playing. But he can play an additional land, and his land's tap for any color. So it also helps with the 4-color thing. And then here recently, he has added the Opposition Agent and the Hull Breacher because they are insane power level Magic cards. I have a tutor category. Vampiric Tutor, Demonic Tutor, and Diabolic Tutor helps to go get, because the deck can operate in so many different facets. He's not tutoring for the same thing every turn. I know, as the argument against tutors as well, it plays the same way every time, and it doesn't. It doesn't. Like, he'll draw part of it and then go and get the other part. But now, do you have a minute to talk about Mind's Dilation? This card is an amazing card. It's a very popular card in the local play group. I have played in games when there's as many as 3 Mind's Dilations on the table, and that's fun. That's fun because I cast a spell, and then it triggers all of them, and then if they want to cast any of those, that's the first spell they've cast on their turn, so they cast it, and then it triggers all the... Yeah, it's fun. You just... Anyway, Mind's Dilation... is not a 7-mana do-nothing enchantment. It is most of the time a 7-mana win-the-game enchantment. You just get free cards off of it. Every now and then you get hosed with just getting land, but they're not drawing those lands, so... I forgot a creature. Eternal Witness, because, it's an amazing card, and it gets back. With the expensive stuff, like Nexus of Fate, is because sometimes you just need... If I had one more turn, I could win. Here it is. And it costs 7 mana. This is the only take an extra turn spell he runs because it's very expensive, and therefore he wants to Vial Smash somebody for 7. Spellbook, we're drawing a bunch of cards. Exquisite Blood, Traumatize, Persecute. So like the who's who of amazing Magic cards. Heroic Intervention, of course, is the Anti-Wrath. And when you're running that much big stuff, yeah, you might as well play with Omniscience. I mean, if you get there, you get there, and it's Magic on easy mode, but it's an enchantment that's hard to protect. So let's talk about protecting it. This is the removal category. Now, we're going to go through the the counter magic part of it first, because that's how he's protecting stuff, He's got the counter spell, cryptic command, spell pierce, force of will, fierce guardianship, and desertion. Now, force of will, it is a 4-color deck with force of will, but if you notice by now, there's a little more blue than there are all the other colors, so that I don't know that he's ever had a problem having a blue card to discard to the force. Every time it's ever mattered and he's had it, he's been able to do it. Because then we've got stuff like, now, Boomerang may not be removal in some people's minds, but it gets whatever the item is off the board. And a lot of times that's all you need is it off the board one turn. It's a tempo advantage. He also runs, capsize, evacuation, devastation tide, cyclonic rift. Yeah. But now, I think one of the best removal spells he's got is Imprison in the Moon. Creature, land, or planeswalker. It's a colorless land with tap to add a colorless and loses all card types and abilities. The reason why this is so much better than just straight kill that thing is you can play it on someone's commander. If you Doomblade somebody's commander or whatever, wrath it away, it's just going to go back to the command zone. They're going to play it again. This keeps it in play. It doesn't exile it, so it's still there. It's in play but useless. And they can't kill it because very few people have ways in their decks to sacrifice lands. A lot of decks have sacrifice creatures or whatever, but not every deck has the ability to sacrifice a land. Yeah, I'm telling you, Imprison in the Moon can lock out a commander for the rest of the game. It is a beautiful card. I'd be playing it in every deck I could put it in if I had enough. Then we have a lot of, this is like the best removal that there is. Grizzly Spectacle, Vraska's Contempt, Terminate, Crozen Grip, Assassin's Trophy, Maelstrom Pulse, because tokens are a real thing. Curtain's Call, Blasphemous Act, and Psychic Impetus. Now, I'm going to make a prediction here. There are a few cards in Kaldheim that have something to do with excess damage. I know there's one creature that says if a creature takes excess damage, you can do that much to a player or something. I'll bet that Blasphemous Act is going to see a whole lot of play in a lot of places with that, along with that Star of Extinction. So now we will look at basic lands. Now, Danny has a unique deck building quirk. He only plays foil basics, which is, I think it's awesome. but he's a lot like me. We love shiny cards. And to be honest with you, I've played against this deck a million times, it feels like. And I know it's a really good deck. It's a fun deck to play against because you never know what's going to happen. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't realize how amazing of a deck builder Danny was until I just took it apart and showed it to y'all. Because it's got all the aspects that you really are looking for. Anyway, here's his non-basic lands. Graven Cairns, Morphic Pools, Breeding Pool, Luxury Suite, Stomping Ground, Woodland Cemetery, Feeded Pools, Choked Statuary. I'm pretty sure I didn't say that right. The camera is crooked. Okay. Overgrown Tomb, Drowned Catacomb, Exotic Orchard, Reliquary Tower, Dark Slick Shores, Hinterland Harbor, Steam Vents, and Watery Grave. Like I said, it is a super, super fun deck to play, or to play against. I haven't actually played it. I don't need to play it. I have played against it. I think I have more fun playing against it than I would But now, since he was so kind and so gracious enough to let me show y'all the deck, I am actually going to shuffle it for him, because I know the next time he gets it out to play, it's going to be you know, all the lands are together. So, but yeah, I appreciate you, Danny, for letting me show this. This is one of those just classically fun decks. You never know what's going to happen. It could go off the rails. It could not. You know, but most of the time it does something very uniquely interesting. So I appreciate y'all watching, and yeah, it's fun. It's a fun deck. But that is Danny's Vial Smasher deck. Thank y'all so much, and we will see y'all later.